Everyone, welcome to the UkeStuff channel and welcome to this podcast with Mike McQueen. Mike McQueen is the owner, operator of the Uke Republic. I'm going to bring it up here right now and we'll have a chance to talk to Mike. So Mike, what do you want to say about the Uke Republic? And I'll bring up the URL here for people watching the video.
Oh, thanks so much. Well, the Uke Republic, we've been around since it's our 16th year in business, and yeah, it's been a great journey. We're still doing what we intended to do, which is provide the best variety of quality instruments. So we're still here. Yeah.
So what is your background with music before the store? So we'll get to the store, but what preceded that in your own life with music?
Oh, okay. Well, blame it on my mom. She tried to give me culture, and the difference between me and yogurt. Yogurt has culture. Anyway. So no, my mom got me lessons. We used to go to see classical guitar performers like Pepe Romero's dad, Romero Brothers, and she got me lessons in classical guitar and percussion. So I started out with classical guitar. As a kid, you're probably more interested in rock and things like that. So that was when I was like 6, and then when I became a teenager, I became more interested in punk rock and new wave. So I got me a Strat copy, and I just banged around on that. And then finally, I came back around. One of my uncles, he plays lute, he plays classical guitar, so I became interested in that again. And then ultimately, when I was in Ireland, I got into ukulele. So it was an island, but it was just on the wrong ocean. But that's how I actually got into ukulele. It was in Ireland in the mid-90s.
Was it like a jam going on or something, or what?
Oh, no, not exactly. I was, oh man, Ireland's a beautiful place, and my wife and I, we're cruising, through the countryside. It's this lush green fields and little rock walls and rolling hills. And Somewhere Over the Rainbow came on with Brother Is. And I'm like shedding a tear because it was just such a beautiful moment. And the internet wasn't what it was. So when I got back home, got on board and, went on my quest for ukuleles, and that's kind of where it started.
So did you start right away playing by yourself? Is that kind of where that started when you came back?
Yeah. It was. I finally found one at a music store, like a small music store, and it was a horrible thing. I couldn't even tell you what it was. It was something horrible. But I figured it out, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So, I kind of became addicted, and like most people, you go on the quest for the different ukuleles. So I jokingly say I'm an addict, so that's why I became a dealer, and here I am.
And just so everybody knows, there's something that Mike does, and we'll talk about it later on Fridays, called Fridays, and it's legitimate. The jokes are nonstop. I mean, it's just part of who you are. So what were you doing at the time professionally when you suddenly decide to open up an ukulele store? What were you doing right before that?
Well, I used to be an exotic dancer. No, I'm kidding. I was. I've been in sales my whole life, and music and stuff. My family were, we all were singing different stuff growing up, and my dad playing guitar and family and band. So I always had that background, but I always had sales and different jobs. So yeah, it was that. So it just sort of fit. I want to do something that was fun and something I was passionate about. And the ukulele was it. So that's how I sort of slid into that. And man, it's been an awesome ride. I've met, I don't know, I could go. I've met so many nice people, so many cool friends. So yeah, I love this job.
Did you have any music sales experience before you opened up the store?
No, I didn't. I wasn't in music. No. It's funny, when I worked for, actually, I started out in the automobile industry. My father had a car lot, so I worked for my dad in sales doing that. And then later on, I worked for the Atlanta Committee for the Olympic Games in logistics. So that's kind of like shipping. So I kind of combined sales and shipping. and then my natural love of music, and I went to a performing arts school, so that all kind of worked together.
Was the performing arts school for music too, or?
Yeah, music,
Okay.
and, yeah, acting, dancing. I can dance, dude.
I actually believe that, although you have to show that off on some Friday.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I will.
So you get this idea of starting an ukulele store at a time where there really aren't that many around. In fact, there still aren't really.
Yeah.
I mean, I can count probably on one hand the ones we consider ukulele stores. How do you go about that? How do you tell your wife that you want to do it? You know, things like that. How does that happen?
Well, yeah, that was it was truly a pioneering moment, I guess you could say, because when we first started out, it was like, oh my goodness, it was very primitive. Our first website, it was when we started out, it was sort of like, you know, if you want to get one of these, give me a call or an email, and I'll send you a PayPal request for money, and then you can see me. And then my store was basically Starbucks. I'd meet people at Starbucks or other places. I mean, I had customers that would be traveling from out of state, but they'd pass through Atlanta. And so, hey, there's a Starbucks off of the interstate. Meet me there, and I'll deliver your instrument to you. So that's kind of how it started. And then one day, a lot of us in the local Atlanta area, I can't remember the blog we were all on. It wasn't Ukulele Underground, something else. But then it became Ukulele Underground. But we just all knew that Jake Shimabukuro was coming in concert. So we went to his first performance here in Atlanta, and I met all these great people. And I was hawking ukuleles out of the back of my car after his concert. So it was pretty cool because Jake it was sort of like a two-story sort of situation. So I was down at the bottom selling these ukes, and Jake is doing what he always does, which is be such a gracious person and shake everybody's hands. And occasionally I'd see him kind of look over the shoulder, and I'm like, oh man, this probably isn't cool, you know? This is his thing. And so I went up and apologized to him, but he was cool about it. So I was great for that. But my wife was on board. I just do all kind of crazy things. It was like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. You'll make it work. So she's the technical wizard. And so she made the website work. It was more some of my friends and family that were in shock about it. Like, you know, again, this is when ukuleles have not really started the incline of the wave. And so people are like, really? And of course you get the usual comments. Oh, Tiny Tim. Oh, tiny guitar. How are you going to do that? And then it just worked because, you know, I also have a customer service background. So again, it's just like, what would I want done? And, you know, what do I want to present to our customers and friends? And it's been working.
What kind of ukuleles were you selling at the time when you were selling them out of your car? That's
well, you know, let's see, we started with 3 brands. It was Kala, Mainland Ukes, and Big Island Ukulele, which sadly is not the same company that once was. But yeah, that's where we started, and we did that. And a friend of mine, became a friend of mine, local school teacher. He wanted to start teaching in the class. He was like, "Oh my gosh, you've got these." He was from Georgia, but he lived in Hawaii, and he was back here, and he wanted to kind of share that with his students. And so it just started snowballing one after another. So many people had been wanting ukuleles, and I had them.
I can't believe you're on the early edge too of that whole re-emergence of ukulele in the classroom too. And
Yeah,
you know, my other big passion is ukulele in the classroom. So that's kind of cool.
yeah.
And that also was very early in Kala's days too.
It was. I think Kala was their warehouse was sort of it was like a chicken barn, I guess, kind of thing that had been converted to warehouses. But I think when I started talking to them, they may have actually been working out of a garage. I mean, it was just everybody was really, really the early days of the ukulele renaissance.
Now, did your wife think that she was going to get sucked into the company as well?
Oh yeah, but my wife's got an artistic background, so she was she was thinking it was pretty cool and like, yeah, you know. And when we started out, there weren't uh, many people online selling them, so it was basically a lot of people might remember Music Guy Mike. He was out there, and there was another guy I think in Texas. It was just a handful of people that were doing this. So, but she was on board um, the whole time. So I appreciate her support.
And sort of that if people don't know historically, that time period, previously the only choice would have probably been Lanakai models, you know, really early Lanakais, which have changed a lot in the years. So it's not the same
Yeah.
quality. And then maybe Mahalos were out there,
Yeah,
but
Mahalo.
it was slim pickings for good ukulele. So that's, you know, early days of internet, not too late or after the famous viral Jake Shimabukuro video in Central
Yeah.
Park, you know, those things. That's pretty cool.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really.
I agree. I think it was.
So what? So you this was all in the Atlanta area, which, by the way, Austell, Georgia, is a suburb of Atlanta. So if you go there, what do you say? It's a little bit to the northwest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
A
Northwest
little,
Atlanta.
because we've been there and we'll be there again. Brought my whole family, and my wife tolerated it. You know, kind
Yeah.
of. She does
You have
not
a
have
great
enough
fan.
of it. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, yeah. And my son bought one. I bought one. In fact, I have my Kawaya here.
Oh,
That's the student one. And I'm glad I bought it. I've almost sold it a couple of times, but these Kawaias, again, I like a lot of companies, but
yeah.
there's something special. I don't even how hard is it to even get the Kawaias? It seems like they don't come frequently.
They don't. There's, of course, in Japan, it's sold under the famous brand name, and Hitomi here in the United States started the whole Kawaya name, and she is the sole importer of Kawaya, and yeah, so they are not as easy to come by, and they're I wouldn't call them a really large production company either.
Yeah, real high quality, real high
Yeah,
standard, great playing, great playing, but just they're not as common. But they're, I mean, even the laminates are amazing. It just
yeah.
it's amazing. So when did you actually find yourself in a building? And has this current location of Uke Republic always been its home, or has it had other homes too?
This is the only place Uke Republic has been. So, yes, we started out. I mean, working like a lot of people do out of your garage. We just didn't become as successful as Apple, but yeah, we started out as working out of our garage and converted my converted my dining room into sort of a showroom. So it was really bizarre. We had just had our youngest son. He was like gosh, a 2-year old. And so what would happen sometimes, people want to come and look at ukuleles, they'd call me up, I'd direct them to my house, which was probably crazy, but ukulele players are really nice, and you know, no axe murderers in the bunch. But the people would call, and they'd come out. So my wife and kids would be going out the back door as I had people coming in the front. And so that was the only physical interaction with people other than the meeting somebody on the road or Starbucks or whatever. And then yeah, we've been in this building. I guess it's been about 14 years. So yeah, it's the only location we've been looking at for a while, of opening up a second location, because we've got a lot of customers all over the place, but we've got some markets we're thinking about opening up a second store. Just
Oh,
have
that's interesting. You'll have
yeah.
to get a call if I'm done teaching.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
with all sincerity, if you haven't had a chance to visit Uke Republic, there's a couple things I'll just observe. One is it's smaller than you would think, because mainly you have a storeroom and you have a workroom and a small showroom area. It's not a giant space. It's inside of a really cool building in Austell that was sort of like made into a business center out of an older. What was the building originally?
It was originally a Coates and Clark thread mill.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
a beautiful building, but it's kind of funny because there's not a whole lot of like retail in it. It's mostly like medical services and things like that, it seems.
there's a police academy, and when we first moved in this, when we first were in this building, um, it was kind of a late, quiet afternoon on a Saturday, and I heard bagpipes going, what in the world? This is weird. And then I walked out, and down the hall there was a police tattoo practicing their bagpipes. Like, this is so cool, ukuleles and bagpipes. But I didn't blend those two together.
Well, I have not noticed the Bagpipe Republic yet. I have not.
Hey,
Hey, gotta go run the trademark on that. But one of the other cool things about that building is there's that beautiful outdoor area right outside of your window, from where actually right over your shoulder. Right now, where you hold different events and things. Do they give you sort of free reign to do that, or do you have to work with them ahead of time a little bit?
Well, yeah, it's kind of changed. There's a new mayor. The building that we're in is actually a city-owned building, and there's a new mayor, and they've just got a different way of doing things. So now we have a room dedicated for us downstairs. It's across from a library, which our local group will be. That's another story, but they'll be working with the library. And then where we hold concerts now is on our third floor. We've got a really beautiful room that you see like the Atlanta skyline and trees. So we'll be doing. Hopefully, our next concert will be Little Rev, but we hold events at other places too. There's a new brewery that opened up that we're trying to work with, so that's always fun. Breweries and ukuleles.
You still have was the West Georgia Ukulele Ensemble meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's our. We've got quite a few clubs around the Atlanta area, but that's the one that meets here, and the one we sponsor. It's the West Georgia Ukulele Ensemble. Yeah.
Does anybody do a ukulele festival in the Atlanta area? I know there's a Georgia Ukulele Festival somewhere, but
yeah, there's a guy started a festival last year, but it's a couple of hours far east, almost into South Carolina. And then we've done sort of mini festivals ourselves, like at state parks or here. And we're looking, hopefully, it's a lot of work, those festivals. So
they are.
But we're looking at hopefully doing something soon, which we'll announce it if it's going to happen. It's again the logistics and trying to time everything right.
Well, I hope if you do, I hope I can make it, because it'd be fun.
We'd love it.
There's a ton of stuff to do in that whole area too. But I think I texted you on or messaged you on Facebook when you said about the new brewery. It's like that is a home run waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that we're missing, like out in the UK, like I hear from my friends in the UK where they have the pubs where they do ukulele play-alongs and singing, and the alcohol isn't necessarily important, but it's part of the whole culture. You know, and they're in a pub and they're singing, and we don't have a whole lot of that in the United States here. We're meeting in like community centers and things like that. That kind of public singing thing. It'd be so cool to have something like that.
I agree. I think so. Yeah, it's not far from our shop either. That we've actually kind of, I guess, microbreweries are opening everywhere. But yeah, we've got a couple around us. But this one that just opened, I think, would be great. They've got a big outdoor stage, and anyway, more to come, more news to come.
Well, I'll be watching that. I'll be
okay.
Watching. And I always like, and again, like watching the Friday stuff. Now, I did want to ask. I want to talk about one thing while I've got you, which is one of the things I always want to reiterate to people is the size of companies in the ukulele world, because we sort of think like there are hundreds of people working in these stores, hundreds of people working in these ukulele companies. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Just folks, they're small instruments and they're mostly small companies. So, so like our shop is not a huge shop. We're in a big building, but we've got 3 core people here. It's a family-owned business. When it gets busier in the season, we usually hire on a couple more people to work with us. But we do all the work. So, and I think that's the way it is for most ukulele shops. Some people are 1-person shops. Some are 2. Like Mainland Ukes is 2 people. A lot of the manufacturers, like as far as builders go, aren't as huge as you might think too. A lot are smaller, and the exception I would probably say is Kala is pretty big. They've got about 3 warehouses in the United States, from Hawaii all the way to Virginia, and they've got a sizable staff. But a lot of the companies are small that specialize solely in ukuleles. There's guitar companies that make ukuleles. That's another story.
How much do you get heads up when new products are coming out before like a NAMM show, or are you always surprised at a NAMM show of like, oh, that's what they're doing?
Yeah, well, a little bit of both. Since we give a lot of feedback to the manufacturers about what we're hearing customers ask for, what we're seeing in demand and things like that. So sometimes they'll clue us in like, hey, or they might even send us some models that haven't come out yet just to kind of review and, hey, you might want to do this or that. So it's kind of a 50-50. Sometimes I'm super shocked, and sometimes I'm like, hey, they did that right. You know, we knew that was coming.
Here's another great question, which is if you have a customer calling and they're like, hey, I want to buy an ukulele, what's your process? Because I think a lot of people think that you're going to try to steer them towards the instrument you want to sell.
Yeah.
Which for the good ukulele dealers isn't the way that it happens. I know that because I've been there. But how do you steer that person?
Well, actually, I give them a warning. Two things I say is, one, whatever ukulele you choose is probably not going to be your last. And the second thing is it's a slippery slope. Once you start with one ukulele, you end up with several. So I when we talk to someone that walks in the store, or someone we talk to on the phone, or even someone we see at a festival, we try to be like a concierge, like try to identify what the customer is looking for. Is this their first instrument? Do they have a musical background? And what's their budget? What do they want to spend on one of these instruments? So we have some customers that are like, nope, I'm getting one instrument. I just want it to be a good one. That's all. And I'm sure, but most people, they're like, yeah, I mean, there's so much variety. But yeah, just try to help people get what it is they need and what they want. And definitely don't say, well, gosh, if I sell you this one, it'll be great. But it's just really what's the best for the customer. And that's just something I was taught as a kid is, treat people how you want to be treated. So I try to apply that to our business too.
Yeah, and you're there's no doubt you're a salesman. That's part of who you are. So if somebody runs into you, they're gonna be like, "Well, he's just a salesman." No, but you actually have that joy of life in you too. I think the humor is legitimate. I think the customer service and the care about people is legitimate. Having met you and worked with you a little bit, there are fake salespeople.
Yeah.
And that's not you. And I say that with all honesty because I've met those people that are. So that's one of the things I enjoy about working with you, and also with a number of the other dealers that I know with that same kind of spirit. And that's why it's easy to recommend you too, which is a lot of fun.
Thank you.
But it's true. And there's, now they're going to be unhappy customers. And I guess the one question I would ask is, for somebody that isn't brand new to ukulele, what's the one question you wish that somebody would ask when they're ordering a uke that they don't, that has caused the most issues?
Will this ukulele make me play like Jake Shimabukuro? That's I don't know. We don't it's funny because you get some people that will talk on the phone and maybe they'll tell me, okay, here's the tone what I want. I want something that has a lot of sustain, or it's got a lot of projection, or whatever else. Okay, maybe I direct them to something that's like a spruce top or a cedar top. No, I hate spruce. I hate cedar. But everything you've described is that. So sometimes I think people may, when you're looking for anything, you read reviews and get people's experience, and they may think, well, this is the XYZ kind of what I want, but it may not really be what their ears want. It's just what everybody else said was the best thing. So that would probably be the question is, if customers are definitely honest with the sound they're looking for, that would probably help a lot.
Now, another thing I need to ask about is setup.
Yeah.
I know you pride in doing a setup with every ukulele. There was a little flare on the internet not too long ago about a dealer saying, I need to charge for setups and this is how much it costs. And then a bunch of people jumped on that person. You stayed out of that fray, which I very much appreciated. I'm not asking you to enter that fray. But talk about the setup that you include. Have you been doing that since the start? And is there anything you've learned in that process?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, of course, we don't charge for our setup. It's always been that way. And it's a full setup. So if we get something in that needs an entire fret job, we do the entire fret job. If it needs the action, we do whatever it needs. And then we cull instruments too, because sometimes some manufacturers will send us, you know, a dozen instruments, and out of the dozen, maybe there's one or two that have a twisted neck or something. So we can't do that. So we send it back. But I think when it comes to setup, a lot of times it's the action is what people are looking for, the string height. So we have our parameters we try to meet, but we get special requests. Some people usually want the lower action. Sometimes they want the higher, but it's mostly the lower. So yeah, over the years I've learned to definitely ask their playing style. Do you play hard, or are you doing finger style? Are you a soft player? And that kind of helps me to help them to figure out what's going to be the best action for them. Maybe you play really hard. Well, you probably don't want a really low action because everything's going to buzz.
Yep.
And so we do that. And of course, over the years, we've gotten more perceptive to that and really been able to dial it in. But we're working with wood instruments, so it's not always the same thing, and there's different things that we're feeling and hearing and finding out sometimes about different instruments.
Now, are you still doing setups, or I mean, obviously you still do, but does your son do most of them now, or how?
Yeah, so Ian, he's my son. He has been working with me since he was probably, about 8 years old. Like, again, when I was working out of the house, we'd get a shipment in, and it's like, all right, kids, we got these Macala dolphins. We got to take these terrible strings off. So they'd all take them off. So he's been doing that since he was a kid. Now he's 20, going to be 25 soon. So yeah, he does. He's our primary setup guy. He installs pickups and does all sorts of things like that. But again, being a small shop, Donna is awesome. She does all our website work, but she is also she does our photography, and but she's a great luthier. She does some, when me and Ian can't figure something out, she's the one. But again, she's got an artist background, so she's got a critical eye, and she even married me with a critical eye. So that might not be saying a lot, but no, but she really is. And then I still do setups too, and whatever needs to be done.
If you're going to have somebody call and they say they want to pick up, what's your general recommendation for somebody?
Well, again, it depends on the sound they're looking for, what their budget is. If they want to pick up installed, we like the MySci Trio. It's been around for several years, and it's the one we mostly use. So that's one. It's an active pickup. It's rechargeable. You don't have to use batteries, and I think that appeals to a lot of people. And then we've got another option. It's by Cremona, and these are the K&A, I believe is what it's called, pickup, and that's just going to be a passive pickup that slides underneath a stringed bridge, and that's an option too. So those are our two primary options.
Now, obviously we can see over your shoulder. Looks like, I'm not sure is that the new Comet behind you, right behind you?
Yeah.
I do some work with lights, so that's a brand new model. It just came out.
Yeah.
What other big name companies do you have? I mean, I can name a few of them. I know you've got Kala. I know you've got Flight, Ohana, Romero Creations. You've got some Laprinzis.
Yeah.
Koaloha, Kamaka, Kanalea. Do you still carry some mainlands?
Oh yeah, we carry mainland ukuleles. We carry some of the Ortega models. We carry Bruco from Germany. That's one you don't find too often here. I'm looking around. What else do we carry?
Yep, we talked about Kawaya earlier.
Oh yeah, Kawaya. Yeah, we carry Kawaya. We carry their artist series and their what do you call it? Student models. We carry all those. Gosh, we carry a bunch. We carry gosh, I can't think of the guy's name, but we carry the Tahitian ukuleles out of Chile.
Reese,
Osamu. Yeah, those are cool.
yeah, you don't get many Reese's though, right? Those are pretty
Oh,
rare.
Reese's. Yeah, we used to carry Reese's more, but during COVID, it seems like their production kind of slowed down. So we haven't been carrying them as often. But we carry Gold Tone, Ponos,
Oh, yeah.
Koala. Yeah.
Do you
So,
see a lot of Coolaus? I
nah.
see a lot of those models. I don't know if they're just building mainly guitars, but I don't see a lot of Coolao ukuleles.
Yeah. So from what I understand, the production again also has gotten smaller. But John Katakis, who owns Koala and Pono, his son Noah is the main luthier, and he's also taken over the distributorship of Pono. So, but yeah, he and I think one other guy are building all the Ponos right now.
By the way, I had Daniel Ho on the podcast actually last 2 months as we're recording this. This one should be coming out in October, so happy Halloween, everyone.
Oh, it's getting chilly.
Although admit, yeah, it's still 87 degrees here in Wisconsin / Minnesota, so it's not quite Halloween. I have to record these ahead of time. But he mentioned that there's a bunch of surprises coming from Romero Creation, and
Yeah.
he wasn't giving details, but he said they'll be coming by the end of the year. So I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to come out with.
Yeah, he had a couple of really good student models Romero did, and I hope they bring those back. I think they're looking into it, so that'll be great because it was very affordable and it was a great instrument. But and I know we've gotten their rosewood and cedar models, which are fantastic. But again, another small production company, of course. But they're awesome. They're awesome.
And this leads to the discussion of Sailor ukulele.
Hey,
Which is great. And one of the current trends, it seems, is that every ukulele store is coming up with its own brand. The exception, I think, is a Southern ukulele store in England, which is basically seems to be commissioning models for their store only, from like Flight. They'll have the Carabao that I think only they are being made. Although the current Fireballs have a lot of that Carabao, the DNA in it.
yeah.
So, but otherwise, stores seem to be commissioning. Yet, you at Uke Republic have had the Sailor brand for how many years?
Gosh, I guess it's been about maybe, I don't know for sure, but maybe 13, 14 years we started it. Yeah.
So,
And
what do you want to say about the Sailor brand if anybody's not heard of them?
sure. So the Sailor brand, it kind of came about. I was doing some research on previous brands of instruments that you don't see anymore, like Regal and companies like that. And I just wanted to leave my mark on the ukulele world. So I worked with a luthier to produce these wonderful instruments. And the idea was to make something that was made in USA, but was still, I think, accessible and affordable to customers. So we came out with two models. One is a solid wood top. It might be cedar, spruce, mahogany. And then the back would be a solid body of poplar. But if you've ever seen poplar instruments, they're generally not very interesting looking. So we would put on a veneer of a different wood, like it might be a quilted eucalyptus or something like that, or maybe a wood like a spalted wood you couldn't normally make a solid wood out of. So it'd have, a sandwich on the inside, outside, and then solid poplar in the middle for the back and sides. And that was our basically our tan label. And those, are going to be a pretty approachable. A soprano is going to be probably around $500 something. And then our next level up is the blue label, and that's going to be all solid tone wood. So it might be, I've got one that it has a solid spruce top, and it has solid spalted tamarind wood back and side, something you don't see very often. And that's going to be more like in line with most other higher end boutique instruments. So we've got something for everybody. Most of the time we've just been making them to order, although we hope to have a decent quantity that people can just order if they want. Hopefully towards the end of this year or maybe into next year. But it's very small production, and it's not an import. It's just really just something we wanted to do from just our heart and love of the whole ukulele world. So that's what it's about.
I just thought you do have magic flute too, right? From time to time.
Yeah, we've carried those before, yeah.
And then, but not Martin, right? Because Martin generally requires a whole different thing, right?
Yeah, they do. I believe Martin wants you to hold quite a bit of their stock, is what I understand.
Now, with that, moving to accessories makes me think of strings. Are you able to carry Martin's strings?
We could carry Martin strings, yeah. We don't currently, though.
Okay, so I mean, I know you've got like you are probably the only, well, maybe one of the few dealers, if not the only, that carries the Living Water strings from Ken Middleton.
Yeah, we're the only official reseller. So yeah.
And then you've also, do you carry Uke Logic as well from Joel or not?
Don't carry those, but those are definitely nice strings.
Okay, and then you carry probably the D'Addario.
Yep, D'Addario.
What other main string companies am I missing? Fremont, maybe?
Yeah, we carry Fremont. We carry Romero Creations. We carry Canilea strings. We now carry the new Koaloha strings. We carry Labella's string lines. They've got Labella's a cool company, but I don't think they're as popular in the ukulele world, which I wish they were. Labella's DNA goes back to Stradivarius. The area they came from in Italy actually made strings for Stradivarius, and they make this huge catalog of ukulele strings, and they're really nice. Their nylon strings are very similar to the Aquila strings as far as the way they kind of feel and the tension, but just their own thing. They're different, but they've got their own thing. But yeah, we carry those. We carry Worth.
Oh yeah, Worth. Yeah, that's
Worth strings. We carry the Koalau strings. They've got the Mahanas and the Alohis. And then what else? Gosh, we got a lot.
And the Aquilas, of course. Or by the way, how do you say Aquila? Do you say Aquila?
I was told by Mimo it was Aquila, and it means eagle in Italian.
Right. Which is why that eagle's on the package.
That's right. It took me a second. I think most of us say it kind of like you would think it would be Spanish. It's like, oh, Aquila. No, it's Aquila. Yeah.
Then you've got a whole selection of other accessories too. I
mean,
pretty much anything from straps to love. My Uke Republic mug is my morning mug every day.
Oh,
love that mug. Love it. Yeah, it's fantastic. But then, do you still have the knives that you had made or whatever it was?
I'm out of them. Yeah, those were pretty cool. So yeah, we did sell some pocket knives, and the connection with that.
It's actually public. No, just kidding. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's kind of two things. My first foray into selling things online, I sold knives. That was
you a Cutco salesman?
No. It was I resold. It's a Scandinavian company, Frost's knives, Mora. So I sold those and some other things. I just started. I don't know. I just get into something and it's like, whoa, hey, maybe this could become a business. But yeah, we started. We sold those. So I just always loved knives. I think a lot of people find them handy. It's a nice tool to have. And so I came across this Portuguese maker, and they started out about the time that the Ravenskrog ship was in Portugal, headed to Hawaii, with the first predecessors of the ukulele. And I thought, well, it was a small area, and they make tools, and there might be a chance, I started thinking romantically, perhaps there's a chance that people on board had, knives made by this company.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, it'd be cool if we had Uke Republic knives. So we did. We made one that was a sailor's knife, and we made one that was just like your drop point knife. And we'll have those again. Some made out of olive wood, beech wood, oak, and Australian blackwood, I believe. So yeah, they're really cool. We'll have those again. And we of course have the mugs. They're all made in USA mugs. Maybe from your part of the world. I think one of the companies is out of, Wisconsin. And the other one is out of Utah that makes them for us. So we love that. There's actually a Facebook fan page for it's called the Orange Uke Republic mug fan page. So people have actually got a fan page for it. I'm honored.
What's the story with the swamp monster thing too?
Oh, oh man, it's just it was just sort of inspiration out of all the I like science fiction and cryptozoology and stuff, and I thought out of all the creatures that would be a ukulele player, probably something like the creature from the Black Lagoon or something aquatic. So we sort of we've got our local artist who does all of our logo work. You may see him, Captain Love Handles, Jazz Ingram, who is a ukulele player, and I'll plug his band too. It's called the Possum Kingdom Ramblers.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, they're awesome. Check them out, Possum Kingdom Ramblers. But yeah, he came up with this great idea. So the creature's got kind of like Elvis shorts from Blue Hawaii on it, playing a ukulele. So we've made straps, again, made in USA. And we've got him swimming. And then we've also come out with Bigfoot with ukuleles. So yeah, we don't have straps yet for him, but we've got stickers and decals. And again, Jazz did all that. And they're awesome. So if anybody's looking out there, check out the Uke Republic page for that. And also, if any of you people are old enough to remember Rat Fink, the artist that originally did Rat Fink, he passed away. But Jazz is I guess you'd call it a certified or approved artist to reproduce his stuff. So he came up with Rat Fink in a hula skirt playing an ukulele. So we sell that too. And that's like official Rat Fink merchandise.
And that's all these things are online right now.
Yeah. So we've got
the business question I would ask you is, do you want to talk about shipping at all and what your shipping charges are and the reality so people understand what's happening with shipping charges too for even companies?
Yeah, so we do offer free shipping regularly. It just sometimes the amount may differ. I think right now if you spend $279, you get free shipping. But shipping costs have gone really high. And also the boxes that we ship the instruments in, everything else has gone up. So it's really costing us. So sometimes people are like, well, why do I want to order from you, and buy this $100 ukulele and pay you, I don't know, $17 or $15 to ship it? And the reason is because we give that free setup would be one main reason. And if you have a problem, you get a real person, me, that you can email or talk to, and we handle that for you. So the free shipping a lot of times isn't always so free. There's definitely, a reason why we have to have it up at least to certain prices.
Yeah, and you gotta cover your back. I mean, I've sold a couple used ukes on Facebook, and you'll make the price, for a $150 ukulele, you'll make it $79 including shipping, and people will still try to bargain you down.
Yeah. Well, but a lot of times too, the price of shipping is much higher, even when we have charged before. So we're again, in the Atlanta area, which is a great hub for shipping. But say, for instance, we ship to the Northwest, it may cost us $50, and somebody got that for free. Not to mention the cost of the box and the price of the labor to package everything up. So free shipping's a deal.
Amazon has forever twisted our mindset of what costs are, and it's hard to beat that. So I don't know. There's something Barry Maz. I don't know if you've ever actually met Barry or talked with Barry.
We've just communicated, but I've never met him in person. I'd love to.
I haven't yet either. I always tell him if I ever make it to the UK, the first pint is on me. You too, not with the following that he has, but he has always just advocated for ukulele specialists, and I'll add local shops that are going to do it right. But there's a reason to order from, like, the wall behind you right now is proof of why you order from an ukulele specialist, because you're probably not going to find many of those, if any of those, at Amazon, and you're certainly not going to find them at the local store. There was just a thread going on the Ukulele Underground forums, which is still out there, even though everybody seems to be on Facebook. That old forum keeps going in a new form, and they were talking about the Two Harbors thing that's happening. Oh wait, I shouldn't say when that's happening. The Two Harbor thing is that happened is
Right.
right, and we're asking, does anybody know if there's any like ukulele stores? And we do have one place that sells Kamaka, Magic Fluke, and Koloha in town, but that's it. And even then, their selection is, and as you know, in fact, maybe we should talk about this. Like when you get a shipment from Kamaka, how many instruments come into that shipment?
Right. So, again, these are small production, high demand builders. So, for instance, Kamaka, when we get shipments in, it's anywhere from probably 3 to 6 months, and we get anywhere from maybe 6 to 12 instruments, and that's it for another 3 to 6 months. And I'd say the Kanilea and Koloha seem to be able to produce a little faster, but all of these companies, not only is there demand for them within the United States, but it's all over the world. And you've got a lot of buyers in Japan and Korea that love the Hawaiian brands also. So, and Europe as well, and Canada. So yeah, they're high demand.
Another quick question: what is the farthest away you've shipped an ukulele?
Antarctica. So
For real?
we are proud to say at Uke Republic that we have shipped to every continent in the world. Now, the way we shipped to Antarctica is we had a customer that had a family member that was working on a research base. So I went through, the APO so we had it off to the APO. They took it down to Antarctica. But we've shipped to a lot of soldiers in various parts of the world. They'll let me know, or sometimes send me a picture of, their instrument next to a tank or something cool. But yeah, we ship all over the place. So every continent, Europe, Australia, getting a lot out of the Caribbean lately, which is awesome. All over the United States, Europe still, but Europe, I think the taxes for import duties are pretty high. We ship to South America too, same problems. Their duties are pretty high. So, but yeah, we ship everywhere.
I hear Australia's high too with their taxes as well.
Not as extreme as say some like South America or Europe or parts of Europe have gotten pretty high. But now the thing with Australia right now, I think maybe by the time it's October, the currency rate will have bettered for our Aussie brethren and sisterland.
You've got friends in Australia too, right?
Yeah. There's a friend of mine that's like, well, two friends of mine that are like family. And I was actually supposed to go down for the Melbourne Ukulele Festival in 2020, but then I don't know, some kind of cough sickness thing came out. It just sort of just put a damper on that. So hopefully I'll be back.
What is the most recent thing to have arrived in the store?
Ooh, what we got some flights. Yeah, we just got a massive shipment of flights yesterday afternoon. So that Comet you see out there, it's not listed on our website currently. By October, it will be. Actually, by October, it'll probably be gone.
It won't be there anymore. But that has a spruce top, right, and a mango back and sides.
Oh, actually, if I may. So this is a solid flamed maple, and then the back and sides are solid mango. But it's out of tune. But it's got a great, awesome sound. And the only other people I've known to do that build, actually two, La Prensa ukuleles and Koloha did I believe it was a black label with the maple and mango, and it works. It's really nice.
That's good. It's good to know. Yeah. Let's see. So, two easy questions. The first one is your social media. You do a lot between. I know you're on Instagram, although I don't follow that as much. I think you're a little bit on TikTok.
Yeah.
I see it from time to time. But what's the social media strategy? What do you have going on? And then I have one last question for you. So,
okay. The strategy is to flood the market with Uke Republic. No, I don't know. We just, at this job, we just have a lot of fun. So sometimes the ideas will just strike us. I drive Donna crazy because, again, she's primarily the social media for the TikTok and the TikTok. I am old. I said, the TikTok. Um, yeah, TikTok and Instagram and things like that. And she does her video work, but I was like, hey, I got this great idea. Let's do this and let's premiere this and we'll run with it. She scrambles like, I was like posting stuff. So we just, we just want people to know we're out there. So we like to come out with the latest instrument that we've just gotten in. Sometimes, or a lot of times, we're the first to get instruments. You were asking me earlier about, hey, do you know something's coming out? And we do. And so we're like, all right, I want a dozen of these, and as soon as they come in. So fortunately, that happens a lot. But yeah, we'll get those in, and I just want to premiere what's out there and share it with people. And a lot of times it's before it's even on our website or anything. So yeah, and then Facebook, I love interacting with people. So on on Facebook Live, I get to kind of do that and have a lot of fun.
I think you're talking about especially the Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. So
if you haven't checked it out, anybody, and you're on Facebook, you've got to find the Uke Republic's page and watch. What time does that happen normally on a Friday?
Ooh, well, it's not exactly an exact thing. So our shop officially, is supposed to, our showroom anyway, is officially supposed to close at 5:30. So while we're wrapping everything up till 6:30, 7 o'clock, we try to put it in there, but sometimes we have people in later, so I can't do it. But it's kind of the idea is, I'm sure in just about every town around the country and in other lands, there would be that radio show that would be the end of the work week, and they'd blow the whistle and it's letting you know it's time to start the weekend. So we try to do that, but with ukuleles and a little bit of fun and comedy, and that's what happens. I get to interact with people, and a lot of times people can ask questions of things maybe they weren't thinking about before, or we just got in a shipment of something. It's like, hey, this came in. It's awesome.
and you do. I mean, you actually are shouting out at people as you see them. You're like, hey, Chris, how's it going? I don't know how you see it because I've got to wear glasses. I don't know how you see that on the feed because I've never done a Facebook Live. But
Yeah.
you're answering questions, like not yelling in a bad way, but you're shouting out to people. But then you're answering questions on the fly. You're pulling stuff off your walls. You're grabbing the tuner if you need to grab the tuner. It's really a fun thing. So just
thanks.
I enjoy that a lot. And if people are wondering if you're actually that crazy, I know you have quieter moments, but I do think you're probably naturally an extrovert. That's my guess, is a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not shy.
Yeah, but you have a good time, and again, you treat people honestly, and that's, I mean, and you love what you're doing, and you love people, and it shows. So I know you're selling ukuleles. I know you're selling stuff, but there's a reason why I know that I buy stuff from you too. I mean, that's not just because you carry it. And I'll be honest, there's one ukulele I bought, I think 3 from you so far, that the ukulele itself wasn't my favorite, and eventually I moved on from it.
Okay.
But that wasn't you. That had nothing to do. That was the ukulele itself. That was one that I had to, I don't even know if you'll remember that one. I had to special order it. It was a special one that had a double neck. That's all I'll say about it.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
After getting it, I just didn't love it. And that's okay. That's not every instrument is going to jive with you either. And that's why they need to go to the Uke Republic.
Yes.
Play them in person. And you have a little chair set up in there.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a huge space, but you welcome people to play, and just have good time. So, yeah, I mean, you were a great host to our family. Now, the last question, easy question, which is actually 2 things kind of merged in one, but one is, how do people get a hold of you? And then there's a criticism from time to time from all the ukulele dealers. I don't care whether it's you, MIM, the ukulele site, whatever it is, you'll have people that will go on a forum and they'll complain, well, I emailed and I didn't hear back. So the 2 things, how to get a hold of you, and if they don't hear back from you, what's the next step? Because I don't think they understand the flood of communication that you're dealing with. So I'll let you answer those couple of things.
Okay. No, you know what? I appreciate everybody that makes the effort to call us or email us or whatever it is. And sometimes it can be frustrating, but it's just, we're a small shop and there's only about 3 people here. And we do get a flood of emails every day, like 100, 200 emails in a day of people asking questions or inquiries. And so on and so forth. So we try to answer them. And then I think a mistake I know I personally made, because there's so many, I'll sometimes be in the middle of writing an email and then somebody calls, and then in my brain, I thought I sent it, but I didn't. And then also too, I've experienced myself, I've emailed people like, why are these people contacting me? The old spam file. So sometimes because we are a business email, it may go to a person's spam file. We have people get frustrated with us and go, hey, I've been emailing, what's going on? I'm like, well, I answered it, or where's our tracking number? It's like, have you checked your spam file? So sometimes it goes there. But yeah, the best way to get in touch with us really is call, email. We are closed on Sundays and Mondays, and we do our best to follow up. But if you don't get in touch with us, contacts again, please. We'll do our best to get back with you. But we're just small, and it's a lot.
Yeah, and I think we can lose again. I think we lose focus of that because we think all these companies are so much bigger than they are.
Yeah.
And it's for the. I mean, I think you have one other person, and then maybe some seasonal help from time to time. But really, you're a family operation. So,
yeah.
Just like so many others, and that includes companies that are importing ukuleles, or I mean, even like look at Koaloha. That's really still a family business, even though they've got people working outside of the family.
Yeah.
It's still a family, but they still do lunch every day.
Oh, yeah. Kamaka is the same way. Kanilea is the same way. It's family owned. They have other people working, but it's family owned. And again, we're 3 to 5 people here at any given time working, and we want to do things right. So sometimes the setup may take a little longer, or we're in the middle of putting in a pickup, so we may have to call you back when the pickup's done, because when you're putting in a Kanilea, you don't want your drill to jump.
Yeah. And by the way, everything you ship, you send a tracking number too. So people are like, can I trust this guy? Yeah, you ship everything you say you're going to ship. So
we do.
But again, that's because of bad situations, bad customer service with Amazon, things like that. We just get used to the way that things. It's kind of nice working with people not only that have the great stuff, give you the good customer, satisfaction of a good experience, and then you just kind of know that you're working with people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Conglomerate bot or whatever it's going to be.
That's true, and a lot of people that have started out as customers and still are customers just become friends, because we're a small operation, and it's kind of personal. We put a personal touch into the instrument. We want our friends to be happy. So if you call me up, we might talk about everything from ukuleles to craft beer and surfboards. I don't know.
Over the time that I visited with you over time, and even visiting in person, just I'm always fascinated by the ukulele business in general. That's of interest to me. Not that I'm ever going to be running a business, but that whole, as a musician, as an educator, in particular as an educator, wondering about that whole other side of the world of that ukulele business. And I've had a chance to learn a lot through the work I've done with Flight, but then also talking with people like you, and that's been really, really good. It's fun, but it's also I still can't imagine saying to my wife, well, honey, let's put everything on the line and open a ukulele store.
Totally. I had friends in Hawaii too. I'm like, I'm gonna start a ukulele store. And like, really? In Atlanta? Like 16 years, like, oh, that's cool, man. So yeah, so it worked out. Sorry for my bad Hawaiian accent. So.
It's okay. It's all right. And again, you still have to do the promise dancing at sometime on a Friday too.
Oh, definitely.
That has
martial arts. I'll do all kind of stuff.
Well, Mike, I appreciate you spending the time with us. I know we've gone a long time. Thank you for answering those questions. I appreciate everything you do for the ukulele world. I'm glad you're in business. I'm glad I've had a chance to stop there. I'm hopefully going to get a chance to stop again soon.
Yeah.
You're a joy to work with. And I think I met Donna in passing as she was working, but she was on a mission. So, so said hi graciously, but she obviously had stuff to do. And I think your son was just quietly working in the back.
Yeah. they're both very precision, precise people. I'm just more of the performing monkey. So they're the the organ grinder. But no, thanks so much. Thanks for everything you do in the ukulele world. And yeah, I think it's cool too. I was going to let people know, our store is sort of in a crossroads. We get a lot of people that are coming from the north, going to Florida, and people from Florida heading to the mountains that cross by because we're in Atlanta near the Atlanta airport and also three major interstates. So it's easy to access us. So yeah, if anybody ever wants to come by, of course, check out our hours, check out our calendar too, because we do festivals. We meet a lot of people at festivals and work there too. But yeah, come on by.
Well, we should mention that real quick. You go to the T-Bug Festival.
Yeah, we do the Tampa Bay Ukulele Getaway. There's also Tampa Bay Ukulele Day that'll be happening in March. So we do those two Florida festivals. If they ever get it back again, we do one in near Panama City, Florida. We also do one in Alabama. We do one in Memphis, Tennessee. And we should be doing one in North Carolina coming up. And I hope to come up to your neck of the woods and do the one at Silver Creek. It looks like a lot of fun. And may bring my other new business. We've got the Uke Republic. We also have the Frog Republic that we're branching into. Sorry. But we usually sell these at festivals, but we've been selling these online, and so you don't have to wait till you see us at a festival.
All right. Well, I mean, I've taken way too much of your time. I appreciate so much. I hope people enjoy this as much as I do. And again, the danger is I could show up at your store and just talk to you for an hour, and you'd be like, "Get out of here! I got work to do." You know what I mean?
No, I love it. It would be great. So yeah, y'all are all invited. Come on down to Uke Republic, or come up, or come east or west to Uke Republic.
All right. Thanks again for joining us, Mike. Thanks everybody for joining the podcast. I hope you enjoy it. And if you ever have any questions to ask Mike, feel free to contact him and reach him out. And he's there to meet all your ukulele needs.